we had Alex Parker from Parker Rock and Dirt on probably a year and a half ago. For anyone listening, it's go check out that episode because he does talk about building a tiered promotion system. And really the nexus of that is making sure your team members can see the path and know there is a path and can know what the next steps look like. And our jobs as leaders or your managers in your company, their job is to make sure that, hey, like, what are you looking for even financially? Like, let's just talk about it. And then let's develop a plan to get you there. Because there's I shouldn't say almost always, there's most of the time a way to get them there. If it's like, hey, in 12 months from now, I would love to be at, let's just say 80K a year for whatever that reason is. And then as the manager and as the owner, you can look at that and say, like, it's not crazy. We would need to see this out of this person taking on these responsibilities and our business to do this. If we can make that happen and help them get there, we would be more than happy to pay that. So I think just showing them a path, but also helping them through that path. And that's our jobs as leaders, is to lead people to better lives and to better careers. And like you said, Josh, sometimes more importantly is the emotional side of the career. Like, do they like coming to work? How do they speak about it? How do they feel about work? But then making sure that we understand that and know that so that we can help build that path for them.
Yeah. That's the career ladder side we found is super important. So they understand if they ask for $3 more, we can say, well, let's pull this out and look at what you would need to do. And then the other thing on your episode 100, you and Luke were talking about the incentive side.
Yep.
And that's a lot of what he's looking at is stuff that we've been through. And I mean, any of your listeners that want feedback, I'd be happy to give it because we've exhausted those programs. But especially on our Dirtworks side, we have one that works really well for the company and for the employee. And so I feel like we're fairly dialed in that regard. But that's a big deal. Is we're pretty generous for jobs that overachieve. But that's why. I mean, we've been working for the last couple of years to make as much as possible incentive-based and then removing ceilings, because why wouldn't you want people to just kill it and completely overachieve?
Man, I love that. We will take a stab at it two ways, but when it comes to team building, so I know you have a lot of experience with that, like how to build a team. Maybe we'll start with how you would build a team at your size and what aspects come into there. And then if you want to take a stab at a smaller company, let's say 5 employees, dirt contractor, what maybe they should be looking for when it comes to building a team and hiring, their workforce and their team members.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to, like, no matter what your size, as the leader, owner, whatever position you're in, your number one job is hiring, like, period. Because culture is who you hire, and it's our job to hire A players. And then be decisive if maybe you didn't make the best hire or someone started great, and be decisive on challenging them directly or moving them to a different seat or out if that's what ends up happening. Because really, the people are control your culture and the performance side. There's a lot of things you can teach and tweak if it's just the performance side. But you have to start there. And then second to that, in my opinion, is if you're going to lead a team, you have to have a vision. They have to know where they're going and where we're headed and be on board for that. And so those are the 2 biggest things. And then as you're growing, whether it's from 5 to 8 to 12 employees, or in some of my cases where it's trying to rebuild a division or start a new division, is you're just I'm assessing where skills are at. Who do we have that's in there? Like, I am a fan of always looking, especially if you're in some of that rebuild mode for new talent who might fit where. Making the tough calls of putting people in different seats if that's what they need. Really, your job on that is casting the vision and then being decisive with your people and setting that standard. So other than that, within building the team, there's so many factors with it in what market you're trying to fill, what skill set you need. But one of the biggest ones that I think we fail at in construction is when you have a need, just moving the most talented guy into it.